Hi everybody, my name is Terin Mayer and I'm a PhD student at the University of Minnesota. And I'm so excited that Professor Binder has allowed me to guest lecture here for this week. So this is the first sort of intro of a set of mini lectures that I'm going to do. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about me and about the program and about what my plan is for our time. Let me show you what I got here. So here's me, Terin Mayer. That's my email address, and I also have a website. And this is my plan. I'm going to try and use technology so that it's as engaging as possible, and it's kind of like I'm teaching with this as a whiteboard, and you here sort of viewing these mini lectures. They're going to be short, but my goal is to get through some of the key sort of conceptual foundations for global climate change that come from the economic toolkit. So I want to go over those real quick, the three sort of main topics that I want to cover. The first is talking about the greenhouse gas externality. And so there's a set of key sort of learning outcomes that I want us to get out of this. I want you to be able to recognize what Pareto optimality is. I'd love it if you could have a sense of competitive market equilibria. And then in particular, this is going to be about market failure in the presence of externality. These are some of the key concepts. If you recognize these, great. If you don't, no worries. I learned most of my economics actually as a grad school student when I got my master's in public policy at UC Berkeley. So this is a great toolkit, even if you have never encountered economics before. I know some of you have, but I'm gonna try and keep things pretty basic so that they're accessible to anybody. But let me just also mention that if you've seen this stuff before, there's always something more that you can do to push yourself. So like jot down questions about things that you've never understood about the model, or if you don't like how I'm explaining it, how would you put it in your own words? Okay, so the greenhouse gas externality, that's the first one. We're going to have part two, which is focused on the impacts of climate change and abatement of climate change as public goods. There are some key concepts that I want you to understand. Public versus private goods. What's the difference? We'll look at a typology there. And then we're gonna look at under provision. When you have a public good, it's not excludable, and so the market fails in a different way, and you typically are going to get an under provision of that good, which is really important when we talk about greenhouse gas abatement. Let's see, is there anything else in there? You'll see it. The last one is we're going to talk about the atmospheric dilemma. This is just my sort of funky way of retitling the prisoner's dilemma, if you've ever heard about this. Hopefully you'll get a sense of the prisoner's dilemma and be able to recognize the payoff structure that defines a prisoner's dilemma. And this is, fundamentally about strategic behavior. So these are some of the concepts that we'll look at there. All of these three concepts have some abstraction to them, but the basic notion is that they sort of dial us into key elements of of the global climate crisis and the economic problems underneath it. So I think it'll be really useful. You see, I've also got this check your understanding and for discussion section. This is where I'll put questions that I want you to either be tracking along to make sure that you've got the understanding, or for some more philosophical, more sort of weighty kinds of questions, put those in the discussion. Now, I care about these a lot, actually, because I was an undergrad philosophy major, funny story, at Carleton College. So I love Northfield. I love Ole's. Yeah, you guys are the best. And don't tell them I said that. But I studied philosophy as an undergrad, and there's actually some really interesting philosophical sort of questions embedded in these economic models, and I think they're really interesting, and I'd love to talk with you more about it. Let me say finally a couple things more about me and about how you can be in touch with me. Please don't hesitate to email me. I'm really excited to be doing this. Dr. Binder is mentoring me in this preparing future faculty program, which is like a teaching training thing that sort of goes alongside PhD study. So I really want to learn how to be a better teacher, and that's a key thing of why I want to become an academic. What more can I tell you about myself? I live here in Minneapolis. I have a dog. You're probably going to hear her. This is her. This is Chayla. At this point in time, I basically tune out her barks, but I am recording this at home, so you will probably hear her. She's cute. She's snuggly. She sounds ferocious. She's just, it is what it is. I also have like a bird clock that you'll probably hear. My wife and I are expecting our first child in May. Anyway, I've done work, as a project manager on a big research project that was estimating the social cost of carbon, which you'll learn about in this class. I would love to get a chance to know you and get a chance to talk with you. So on the 26th, I'll be having office hours, and I'd encourage you to come with questions or just, to chat. And I'm happy to talk about any of my path through life. My research is I use tools from economics and political science and public administration to research freshwater systems and the governance of freshwater in the Mississippi River Basin and the Great Lakes Basin. So that's a little bit more about my research. Okay, next time you click a video, we'll be diving into Pareto optimality and market failure in the presence of an externality. Excited to be here. Stick around.